Yeah, it's pretty warm.
Yeah, I just remember, like, I've lived in New Zealand for most of my life, and I thought by now, living in Queensland for 20 years, that I'd be adapted to the heat. But going back to Japan reminded me that no, you're still very much cold adapted.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, there's nothing wrong with it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's nice in the cold, isn't it?
Oh, love it, love it.
Mm.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, all who are watching. Hello. Hello,
Yeah,
hello.
good to see you. Thanks for joining us this morning. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just actually
thank
I just
you.
finished a live with my patrons actually. So I was talking about Japan
Oh, did
and
you?
yeah, and also eating through the holidays. So
Oh, that'll be a
I
good
thought
topic to talk about.
yeah, because I think Japan, like the Japan trip, is actually Japan's a really good example.
Mm,
Actually, I think because you would have noticed it's very tempting to go off diet when you go to Japan, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm. So
Look, I remember. Actually, let me just quickly. I'm just putting this on Instagram Live before I finish. Yeah, hang on a second. Um, so fiddly. Um, yes. So a few weeks ago, or actually months now, I reached out to all the people I know who live in Japan, including yourself. You know, because telling you guys I'm going on this Japan trip. How how is it going to be like to stick to the carnivore diet on holidays in Japan? And I remember you saying it's piss easy. It's easy as like you're not going to struggle at all.
no,
And he also
what I said was, it's very easy to
what?
get meat in Japan because the variety of meat, it's very cheap, especially seafood and restaurants, yakiniku, shabu shabu, etc. But
Yes.
the most difficult part is not eating all the other things that are there because it's got so much variety, so many other things there that it's really difficult to abstain. Really difficult. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I definitely experienced that firsthand. The Okay, let's talk about the meat, the matter here. Getting meat in
Uh,
Japan. Oh my! It's
very
okay. Comparing it to Australia, this is the only I can really compare it to because obviously we live in Australia. We've got we've got a ton of meat here. Like it's easy to get meat here. We're blessed to have really good quality, or compared to other countries, really good quality beef. Um, the key differences that I noticed straight away when I landed and set foot in Japan was that you are right. You could get meat at the supermarkets and at the convenience stores really easy.
yeah,
Really easy.
yeah.
Almost
It's
too easy.
everywhere. Well, you can
Everywhere.
get it from vending machines. Did you see that meat vending
Yes,
machine?
I did in Tokyo. We're just walking around. Where was it? I can't remember where it was specifically, but I took a photo of it and I was gonna send it to you. I thought, DC got it right once again. There's meat in a vending machine.
Yeah,
Um, it's insane. It's insane how easy it is to get meat, and that completely just debunks what everyone says about Asian countries that they are healthy. Well, this is I mean I don't know if the views have changed, but when I went to school, always remember people telling me that, or teachers telling me that Asia, in particular Japan, is so healthy because they eat a ton of vegetables and a ton of carbohydrates.
yeah,
Mate, for me personally, like I ate mostly foods that I cooked in our B and B because we got a B and B, and so we had you know we had a kitchen. We had all the stuff that you could use to cook your own food. And I would do my own grocery shopping. And honestly, I felt like the meat section or the fresh food section was way more plentiful than your junk food crap, your vegetables. There was a ton of meat.
Yeah,
A ton.
I got
Yeah.
yeah. Well, in the city where I used to live, like in Sendo, like you go to supermarkets, and like 90% of the supermarket is meat, including seafood, right?
Yeah.
The other 10% is like all other kind of foods, and like you might get one or two aisle, like maybe two, maybe usually around one aisle is just junk food, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of their junk food is, you know, like rice based and stuff as well. So it's, and I'm not saying that's makes it any healthier, but you know, it's much more limited, you know, than the meat, for example. Whereas here in Australia, you get maybe 1% of the supermarket is meat, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just such a difference, such a contrast, you know.
Huge.
And of course, like that doesn't mean that. I mean, there's a number of issues that, you know, other things that goes on in Japan though too. But
yeah.
You know, even like if you go to a restaurant, I find it actually cheaper sometimes to eat out than it is to eat in. Like you go to a yakiniku restaurant or shabu shabu and places like that.
Yes.
Where it's like all you can eat for like, you know, a couple of hours. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's incredible. So did you go to yakiniku while you were in Japan?
We did. The first yakiniku we went to was with Dave Mack, actually. So he took us to a yakiniku joint, which is really cool. So I got to meet Dave Mack in Osaka. He took us around, and we had lunch at a yakiniku place. So shout out to Dave, you know, for taking and showing us hospitality in his, you know, his home around Osaka. But the yakiniku, the one thing that surprised me the most was over here in Australia, when you go to a yakiniku, the first thing they do is they spray the crap out of the grills with the, you know, the canola oil sprays. And so you go to in Japan, the way they season their you know, their hot plates, they use the cubes of fat, beef fat.
Yeah, tallow. Yeah,
tallow. I was asking them, what is this cube thing? Is that like some sort of margarine? No, it was tallow. So that was one thing that surprised me. And
when
number two was just
like you go to the supermarket, sometimes you like steaks will be with tallow, like a cube of tallow.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah. It is, and it's what, 1 yen for a little cube, or sometimes they give it for free. The tallow. Yeah. I think, you know, it's almost too easy just to get meat in Japan. But I want to say as well that the meat in Japan is, you know, they don't stinge out on the fat. They keep the fat on. It's not just the marbling. I'm not just talking about the wagyu, you know, the deep marbling of the beef. Like, you can get wagyu beef in your supermarkets, which you cannot get here in Australia. But any other cheap cuts, they're not trimming out the fat. It's the fat's there. Like they're not stinging out.
Yeah, I mean, they love marbled meat and stuff like that. But I mean, they even give you like some supermarkets, so like they'll actually have one corner where they actually just give you can go and just collect the fat as well. They give it to you for free.
Oh, really?
Right? It's just it's really cool. Like where not far from where I used to live, or you know, my family lived there. There's one particular supermarket that has a butcher there as well, and they'll just have a tray. They'll have big trays of fat. They just let you have for free, but 95% of the supermarket is all meat, just meat.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
It's just it really is fantastic. You know, quite cheap too. Certainly on level with Australia's prices. In fact, in some places you can get Australian beef cheaper in Japan than you can in Australia.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
I mean, what the hell is
That was
that?
in the super.
You know, like,
I know.
it's bullshit. It's crazy.
I,
You know.
there was they had this in the supermarket that was close to our B&B. Yeah, but they've even got the, it says there Australian beef, and they got the Australian flag in it, and I'm computing it. It's like it was cheap as it was like 2,000 yen for, I can't remember how much, but it would fill me up, and I thought, hang on a second, these aren't the same prices that we pay for in Australia. What are we doing?
Right.
What's Australia doing? Yeah.
Yeah. I got a photo there if you want
alright.
to show 'em.
Oh, let's have a look.
That's
Oh,
how
can you
they
zoom?
like to eat their meat. You know?
Let's zoom.
Very fatty.
That. Okay, so that's 1,700 yen for just in
So
calculation. That's
$17. Yeah,
$17 Australian for a steak,
Yeah.
a marbled steak, which would probably cost you how much here? Like $50.
Yeah, that's wagyu. Like that's wagyu, so it's be quite
Yeah,
expensive.
really
Yeah.
expensive.
Very
Mm-mm.
expensive.
And what else did you show there? You had some other cuts of.
Oh, I did some other packs here. I've already closed it, but yeah, they're
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that's the way they like to buy it. That's the way that they like it. Very, very fatty. When I was younger and stupid, I used to hate that. It's like I had to, either buy it and then cut the fat off it, or try and find the
Yeah.
lean cuts. Crazy.
Mm.
But now it's fantastic. Like I just, it's very fatty meat, all very, very good quality. And like I said, like they'll give you tallow and they'll give you the fat for free, and it's so cool, so cool. But
And also the freshness of it too. It's actually I don't know. It's just my yeah. I noticed that comparing to Australian supermarkets, like we're just talking, like supermarket and not butcher cuts, because butchers here aren't too bad, but the supermarket itself, the meat quality that you get, it's almost off by the time you buy it from the shelves. Over in Japan,
pretty
I
much.
just felt like every time I bought meat, I felt like it tasted, it was almost snap fresh. It felt like it. I don't know, just my observation.
Well, there's a reason for that though, because a large part of the population eat meat raw, and they also eat eggs
Yes.
raw, so that the shelf life is much shorter. They have a use by date. Like eggs will have like a 5 to 10 day sort of use by date, and they have a high turnover because a large portion of people will eat the eggs raw, for example, and same with the meat.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's why they don't or they don't have a long use by date like we do here. Did you notice, like when you go into a supermarket though, the seafood doesn't have that. Like here in Australia,
Smell.
when like the smell is toxic. It's like it's just rotting seafood. But in Japan, you don't have any smell at all. It's like I never realized when I growing up in Australia. I thought it just stinks in here because of the seafood. But you go to Japan, the supermarket, there's no smell. It's like why is there no smell? Like, and it's fresh. Yeah, that's the difference. It's fresh.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Mm.
And the use by dates as well. Like they don't, over here, like when you buy seafood or even meat, like they've got a long use by date, so it stays in the shelf for a lot longer as well if it doesn't get bought. Over there, I noticed that because the turnover of the fresh foods were just much faster, you'd have 2 or 3 days just to consume it. So it was seafood is another another thing that I think is just another arsenal that I'll add into my personal life, is just to consume more seafood. But you just, I don't know, you're right. Freshness of seafood and meat is just much better in Japan.
Yeah.
Um,
You have far more variety in Japan when it comes to seafood as well. Plus, it's so cheap. You know, it's super cheap.
Yeah,
Even in
super
supermarkets,
cheap.
like even in the supermarkets, it's still so cheap. Like you can get tuna, like fresh tuna, like sashimi quality
Yep.
fresh tuna for like $10 a kilo.
Five.
You know,
Yep. 500 yen
it's
for
incredible.
half a kilo, easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's
Let's
fantastic. It really is.
absolutely. Let's get into
And
some of the comments
where
here.
does Japan?
Uh,
Yeah, Cynthia's got a question there.
yeah. Oh, where is that? Uh, where does Japan
Yeah,
get their
where does
meat?
Japan
Is
get
it
their meat?
domestic?
Is it domestic?
Mm.
Ship it in. They have, yeah, we get a lot from Argentina and such. Well, they do have a large variety of shipped in meat, but they also have their own domestic meat. So,
Yeah.
for example, where I lived, it was Sendai beef, for example, is very famous. But you'll usually find that the domestic beef in Japan is more expensive and is usually priced more because it's also very heavily like Wagyu sort of style as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, like you can get Australian beef there, but it's cheaper than in Australia. They also have a lot of American beef and from Brazil as well and Argentina.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have a large variety of imported meat, but they also very much prize their Japan quality and Japan's beef as well. So they're very pro made in Japan sort of stuff as well. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's there was recently. I just want to also state though, like it's very difficult. The only difficulty about being like carnivore, for example, in Japan, is abstaining from everything else because they have great quality variety of other food. Oh, actually, before I get into that, actually, I just want to talk about a local butcher near where I live in Japan. They it's kind of like nicknamed the zoo butcher because you can get all kinds of meat there. Like they have crocodile, kangaroo, ostrich, and emu meat. They have camel meat. They have bear meat, and of course beef and other stuff as well. So like all kinds of stuff like you just wouldn't normally think of. And yeah, bear meat's actually kind of popular actually in Japan as well. So
I have not tried.
especially out in the country. Yeah. But it's good fatty meat,
Yeah.
good fatty meat.
Yeah.
So, but I want to I also wanted to talk today about this. I think this will relate to the holiday season as well, because while traveling in Japan, it's very difficult to abstain from all the other foods because they have such fantastic variety of bakeries and cakes and other kinds of sweets and so on. And even with these, like in a yakiniku restaurant or shabu shabu, like all you can eat meat restaurants, which are fantastic, by the way, and fantastically cheap. But they also have desserts buffets as well that come with that.
Yeah.
So all you can eat for this period. They even have restaurants that are just cakes and sweets and ice cream and have a tabi holiday. And tabi holiday means all you can eat for a certain period of time. All right. Now, like this, for example, the train station in the city where I live, in Sendai, is a huge train station. Like it's bigger than Brisbane's international airport. Like it is massive.
Yeah.
Right? But that's where all the Shinkansen or the bullet trains, taxis, buses, and subway system runs from. But there's like 15 bakeries in there, right? In just one station, and they're everywhere else as well. And they have fantastic, cakes and pastries and all kinds of other things. And then you have all these other, shoe puff places and all these other things that, and it's everywhere you go around the city. You walk around the city, and there's all kinds of, all these other things as well.
Yeah.
So it's also very difficult to abstain if you're on a certain diet.
Yeah.
So when people say, so in that respect, like, I just wanted to, like, yes, they love meat and seafood and all that sort of stuff, but Japanese, generally speaking, they eat everything else as well. So the question is, why don't they have the obesity of the West? Okay, so this is a very big question. Now, I've seen recently a particular carnivore influencer, very popular one. I'm not going to mention names, but I don't have a very high opinion of. But anyway, this particular person had a short holiday in Japan, and is all of a sudden an expert. But the come away for her was that it's illegal to be obese in Japan. Now, this is the most nonsensical, stupid comment I've heard, actually. I mean, there's a number of them, but this is one in particular. I mean, this is the country that, like, where the national sport is sumo wrestling. So obesity is not illegal, okay? Right? And there are plenty of obese people in Japan. If you ever watch Japanese TV shows, like, half of them are obese comedians and so on and so on. Right? So it's just absolute nonsense to think that any population in the world would outlaw obesity. Just not. So it's really stupid what some of these people come up with. And then they said that Japanese have this 80% rule where you only eat to 80% full. Again, total nonsense, right? Japanese do say, though, that we have two stomachs. We have a meal stomach, because when you can eat till you're full, and then you have a dessert stomach, because even when you're full, you can always fit dessert. You can always fit ice cream or carbs and so on, right? And most people have experienced that. Even though you're full, you can still fit in some carbs, right? Some sugar.
Yeah. There's always room for dessert. That's what they say.
There's always room for dessert, right? But the thing is, I think that there's a number of reasons why they don't have the obesity of the West. Okay, for one, they're just a little bit behind us in the fact of, like, seed oils and highly processed foods and so on and so on. They don't have. Yes, they do have junk food, but you're going to find it's not usually as processed as our stuff, and they've only had seed oil since the 90s. It's another big one. And the biggest reason, I think, is the fact that they are honest. Okay. Now, there are other things that contribute. You might have noticed that there's a lot of stairs wherever you go in Japan, right?
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of people, most people are walking. They use public transport, and there's a lot of stairs everywhere you go in Japan because it's very hilly, right? Subways, train stations, also everywhere else. Yes, of course, they have elevators and stuff like that. How many mobility scooters did you see while you were there?
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that you brought that point up because, comparing it to where we live in Brisbane, this is mobility scooter central. You've got so much catering towards disability, and I don't know what it's like in the remote areas in Japan, but even in the dense populated areas, like I went to Osaka, all of them, all of the places, there was not one mobility scooter, there was not one wheelchair, anything that we usually cater for with disability here, you just did not see it. They were actually we were. I was talking to, we went with friends, and there was like elderly people walking and catching trains. And they look like, if we were to compare the culture here, like they look like they needed to be in a nursing home. They were with their walkers, and they were in the midst of the traffic, the peak hour. These Japanese elderly men and women were walking. that was a
Exactly. And like you have, like if you go to some of the touristy spots and you see, if you go to visit some of these shrines and temples, like some of these shrines and temples in Japan, you have to climb a mountain to get there. Right?
Yeah.
And you'll see people in their 80s and 90s who are bent over almost at a 90-degree angle, using a walking stick, but they're still climbing this mountain to go to visit the shrine and the temple.
Yes.
So this is another reason why they don't have the obesity problem, because there's a number of factors there, right? But I think that honesty is the biggest part of it. It's not that they shame each other; they don't fat shame people, but they are honest about it. So like they'll have a joke about it, they'll call them out and say, "Oh, you're fat," and all this sort of stuff. And like a dude will call a woman fat in Japan. Imagine if a dude called a woman fat in Australia, it would be global news. It's insane. But I mean, they don't make allowances like here in Australia. Like there's sportswear. If it's sportswear doesn't have a size to fit some obese person, then they complain and that becomes news, right? They don't do that in Japan. They don't have the mobility. I mean, the availability of mobility scooters is there for people who can't walk, of course, and they have wheelchairs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they don't use them unless they need them, right? Truly need them. Yeah. Here, if you just put on a bit of weight, people start using a mobility scooter, and their legs just retire. It's crazy.
Yeah. Basically.
So I think the honesty is the biggest part of it, and I mean, like that's why I sort of like it gets me a little bit riled up when you see stupid comments like these so-called influencers talking about Japan. They have no clue what they're talking about. But that doesn't mean they don't have the health issues of the West, though. Just because weight is not the only factor in health conditions, right? People think that because they're lean or even if they're fit that they're healthy. And now I was very lean and very fit and still stage 4 cancer. I had stage 3 kidney disease, I had liver disease, and I had a large tumor wrapped around my aorta. So that being obese doesn't mean or being lean doesn't mean that you're healthy. Japan still has diabetes problems, crisis. They have high blood pressure, heart, stress disorders, and all sorts of things. They still have cancers. They still have, every other disease of the West. The one difference is that they haven't quite caught up with the West in obesity, but it is catching up. It is getting worse there.
Yes.
But one big health issue they do have is their declining population, same as Australia, I suppose, except for the imports. But they have is quite a big declining population in Japan. It's quite a problem at the moment. And I think it's largely due to the fact that they introduced seed oils and also after the Second War, because this has only been like since the last 100 years, all right? They introduced soy a lot, so they eat a lot of tofu and soy products like soy sauce and stuff like that. People think this is been a long time, but it's only been in the last 100 years or so. Now, the problem with that is that it is a very strong xenoestrogen. Okay.
Yeah.
So it lowers testosterone for a start. Okay, and testosterone, obviously, this has a knock-on effect of other things as well. It lowers their D3 production, lowers the EPO production from their kidneys, which also lowers their blood cell production, and they get infections, they get diseases, and so on. So that when you get other diseases like cancers and things like that, this is largely due to that. This is, you know, the soy base or the soy percentage of their diet. And you see what we call soy boys a lot. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot of
Yes.
very feminine boys there that, you know, a lot of them wear makeup just like women do. They wear fingernail polish and all sorts of things. And this is a recent, you know, this has gotten worse and worse and worse, especially in the last 2 decades. So you have a declining population because of this, all right? But you also have, since all this, you also have a very high increase in cancers and other metabolic diseases. So they have just as many diseases, you know, and they have a much higher cancer rate than Australia does, obviously because of population and so on. But per capita, their cancer rates are quite high. Then you also have a very high percentage. It's actually the highest country in the world for numbers for suicide. Okay, now this comes down to, you know, like stress, mental disorders, and things like that. Okay, which you know is obviously, this also comes down to what they are eating and lifestyle and so on. So whenever you get all these bullshit influences, except like, do what Japan does, eat like Japan does, and you'll be healthy, you'll be fit, and all this sort of BS, just because they don't have the obesity problem that the West does not mean it's going to make you healthy. And it certainly does not mean that whatever. I just think they're absolutely crazy. But when they tell you that, but you will have also seen that when they tell you that they don't eat meat, you've seen for yourself that's total bullshit. You know?
Bullshit.
It's everywhere, right?
I think
they know that everything else is in moderation. See, Japan's culture is very much about self-control, you know. And when I talk about hara breathing, like the Japanese samurai used to use hara breathing, like a true hara breathing. Okay, which I've done a couple of beginner videos, but true hara breathing, like into the lower belly, for example, but at the rate where the samurai used to put a feather under their nose, and for like 30 minutes, when they are breathing in and breathing out, that if that feather moves at all, they are dismissed. They're not ready for battle. So that's how much self-control these people are under. Like it's so ingrained in their culture, and I think that's a really cool thing, because it's there's also another traditional sort of part of their culture is called kaizen. It's about self-development and always progressing your self-development, right? Which I find very interesting. But when it comes down to their self-control, breathing for half an hour at a time, like without moving that feather from under their nose, like breathing in or out. Okay, that's how slow they breathe. That's how controlled they are. This is another very big part of being able to abstain or to moderate the intake of sweets and carbohydrates and so on. So you could for me, if I bought like a packet of chips or a packet of biscuits, I would eat the whole packet of biscuits in one day, sort of thing. But my wife, she's Japanese. She could eat a packet of biscuits and just eat one every couple of days. Right? That packet of biscuits will last her a month. Right? I can't do that. If it's there, I know it's there. That I'm going to eat it. Simple. So they're very good like that.
Very, So I think it also comes with like the way that they eat as well. usually, I mean, I'm just thinking, I'm just comparing it now to other Asian cultures where when you have a meal, it's usually, you know, sort of in the dinner table, and everyone helps themselves, and you know, you're coming in
Yeah.
with big plates, big, you know, big bowls, and you're digging in like a feast. Whereas in Japan, I
Yeah,
noticed that
Japanese
I don't
got
know if this is what it's.
a lot of little bowls.
Yeah, yeah, little
A lot of little
bowls,
plates, little
and
bowls. They'll have, they'll have
yeah,
one big plate, and that'll hold the meat, and then you'll have a small bowl for soup, a small bowl for rice, and a small bowl for whatever else they got
yeah,
there. But the main part will be for meat and so on. So just
yeah.
there's a comment here. The boys are very pretty. It's a bit eerie. Yeah,
Where is it?
actually,
Oh, wait, where are we?
to prove that point, in 2015, Japanese scientists turned an all-male um, population of catfish into female, right? Simply by feeding them soy pellets. Actually, 95% of them went from male to female simply by feeding them soy pellets. Soy is a very, very big, very strong xenoestrogen.
Mm.
It's something that should not be in the food supply.
And
And
now
never
it's
been
in
approved for
all your
food supply.
packaged food. It's in all packaged foods
All of
now,
your
like
packaging,
soy. Yeah.
including supplement, including your fitness industry supplements like
Protein.
protein
Yeah.
powders and so on. It's in everything. Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, too, you can't get
for
away with it.
packaging.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's in
that's
every,
right.
like even in meat. Like, I mean, obviously, you know, some of the feeds that you give to animals, it's going to contain soy. But when you go to
Well,
places like, you
it's
know,
not so bad
yakiniku,
for ruminants. Yeah, that's right. It's not
yeah,
so bad
you
for
know,
ruminants. They can sort of filter that stuff out. But if you ever notice, like if you buy beef jerky, it'll say like
yeah,
it's soy enhanced protein. It's why would you
yeah,
need
yeah,
to enhance beef protein with soy, right?
yeah,
And
exactly,
sauces
yeah,
and stuff and so on.
yeah,
But to my point, like it's like traveling through Japan is a good example of like getting through the holidays as well. I think there's two ways of getting through the holidays when it comes to for one, I think if you want to stick to your diet, I think the best thing you can do is to stick to your routine. Okay, so like for me,
yeah,
I was doing my breath work first thing in the morning. It was snowing where I was, so I was sitting outside in shorts and t-shirt while it was snowing and doing my breath work. And that in itself, like keeping your routine, keeps you more motivated, because once you've got up, you've done a bit of cold therapy, then you do your breath work. Now the rest of the day, do you really want to screw that up by eating junk food? No, of course not. So it's the same as like if you get up and do your morning routine, whatever it is, whether you do some sprints or you go to the gym or whatever, and afterwards you don't feel like you want to ruin it all that work by eating junk food all through the day. So I think that's as long as it doesn't matter if you're traveling or whatever, you can still manage to do your routine, stick to that routine, and that will help you manage your diet throughout the rest while you're traveling as well. But
yeah,
having said that, I think don't be so hard on yourself either. If I know it's very difficult,
yes,
you get together with holidays, friends and family, they're saying, "Oh, come on, live a little, eat this, and let's have some cake, or let's have some, some beers or whatever it is." I think, okay, if you attempt it, if you want to eat that stuff, just do it. If you want to eat ice cream, just eat ice cream. I'm not a big believer in trying to find alternative recipes like carnivore ice cream or oh my god, this same influencer that said it's like it's illegal to be in Japan. Like this, she said she made what was called carnivore chocolate. Like, there's no such thing, no such thing at all. But if you want to eat it, just eat it, okay? And don't be so hard on yourself, all right? Don't be scared to put on weight. It's not the end of the
yes,
world. It just means that you get back on the wagon after the holidays and I think it's a good opportunity to measure how you feel. Okay, like
Mm-hmm.
okay, you put on a bit of weight, you've eat this junk food, and how did that make you feel? You know, do you
Mm.
feel,
Mm.
you're gonna feel pretty crap. My guess is.
Mm. Mm.
And then when you get back into your routine and get back onto your diet, you're gonna feel a lot better. And I think that
Yeah.
in itself can also be motivation to stick to that as well later on. So I think
Yeah.
there's two ways to look at it. If you want to stick to your diet, it's going to be much easier if you stick to your routines as well. So stick
Yeah.
to your morning routines, get up, do your, cold therapy, ice baths, or breath work, or exercises, whatever you do. And that's going to make you feel better about not eating the junk food through the day. But if you
Mm.
do eat the junk food through the day, well, don't be so hard on yourself. Don't worry about putting on weight. It's not the end of the world. And our weight fluctuates. We're going to put on weight every now and then, and
Yep.
we always get rid of it. So don't worry about it. It's easy to get rid
Yeah.
of. All right?
Yeah. I think you nailed it.
That's my
The
take on it.
routine thing is very, the routine of things is very, is very important to remember that this is, we're all going to be in a long-term health journey. It's not, I think a lot of people have this mindset when it comes to diet, and I do blame a lot of it to mainstream fitness advice and the gym
Oh, yeah.
bros, as per se, that everything has to be perfect in a block. We all work in these little blocks of periods, or I've got 12 weeks to do this program and to be as strict as possible and whatnot. And so that sort of bleeds into the mentality of lifestyle. But at the end of the day, life is up and down. Life is going to be, you're going to have highs and lows.
Consistency is not. This is not consistency. Consistency is this. So even if you do just a little bit this day and a lot
Yes.
this day, and then a little bit next day, and then a lot this day, that's consistency. As long as you're doing something
Yes.
along the way, that's consistency. That's what life is. So you're gonna have your
Yes.
ups and downs. You're gonna have your weight fluctuations. You're gonna have all
Yeah.
sorts of things. You're gonna have times where you go off your diet. You're gonna have times where you get back on. Don't be scared of that. Don't be scared of that.
Exactly.
I mean, if you have a health issue, like I did, then obviously you're gonna have more motivation to stick to this for a longer period of
Yeah.
time. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that I'm not perfect either. Like there are times where I deviate. It's not a big issue, really.
Yep. And I'm going to be completely honest. Like, okay, talking about navigating through holidays and, what even when you're traveling, how do you do it? I came into... So the way I did it was I came into a mindset. I'm going on holidays. I know that I am not going to have 100% control of what I put in my mouth or the environment around me.
You do. You do.
Well,
you do have that 100% control, but you don't have to be that hard on yourself either.
Well, okay, let me rephrase it. My mind is not going to be, the routine that I have or what I want to, the things around my environment is not always going to be what I 100% want, which is, obviously to be as strict and to be as routine as possible with my diet. I'm going to be put in an environment where I will have things that I just, my hunger cues are going to kick in, and shit, if I'm hungry and I've got no grass-fed ribeye steaks, I'm going to go for the next best thing. So that was my mindset, to do the best that I can, but also life is not just diet. Health is not just diet. There are other things in life that you can improve on and that you do a lot better. So there's always something that you can implement from your routine that can help you get through the environment that you're in. So I like how you bring up walking and the amount of exercise that you're doing. I'm not saying that you have to offset your bad diet with doing a lot more walking, but hey, I'm just gonna enjoy it, man, because you're out in the sun a lot more when you're walking in Japan. Okay, you're gonna be. You don't have the luxury of just always stopping by on your phone, or all these luxuries of just being able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Procrastinate. You're always on the move. You're talking to people. I'm spending more time with my family, which is a very important part of my health. So I'm improving those aspects of my health. It's not always just about being strict on diet or exercise. It's about the other little things that you've got to think about. Yeah.
You have to be in the moment and appreciate the moment. And I think that's another great thing that I think breathwork teaches you, because you can't breathe in the past. You can't breathe in the future. You can only breathe in the now. So this is something that I like to, when I have a client and we're doing breathwork together, this is something I like to emphasize, is the fact that just be in that moment. Okay? Breathe in that moment. Live in that moment. Right? And especially like I'm trying to, I was using that analogy that, getting through the holidays, it's very difficult because of temptation. That's the same like in Japan, because of all the great food there, great sweets and cakes and bakeries and so on. But it's also about when you travel overseas, when you're in a different country, you also have that excitement where you want to try everything,
Yeah.
and you want to try all these different things because you're in a different country,
Yep.
So, sometimes I have that mindset. If I'm in a different country, for example, like it doesn't matter. The food I eat doesn't count because I'm in a different country. It's kind of just a fun game. I use that to sort of justify to myself I'm trying different foods. That's pretty much all it is. It's just a bit of fun. So every now and then I will deviate, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. If I put on a bit of weight, I'm not scared about that. I'm not worried about that, because I can regulate it, and I know how to regulate it afterwards. Okay, if my blood sugar goes up for a little while, I'm not scared. I'm not worried about that. Okay, even though I have a condition that relies on that, because I know that I can bring it back down. I know I can control it.
Yes.
There are other things that I can do to control that immediately as well, such as ice baths, removing mobile cold therapy. It, draws your blood glucose or your blood sugar levels down very, very quickly, because your brown adipose tissue takes up blood glucose faster than cancer cells can. Okay, so there are tricks to doing these things as well. So even if you are going to eat a bit of junk food, okay, try a bit of cold therapy as well, because that will help you to control the blood sugar levels. All right.
Yep.
They use it on diabetics all the time, and now they're even starting to use it for cancer patients as well. Okay, so it works. It works very well.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think that the biggest thing is, like, don't be so hard on yourself. Consistency is about you're having ups and downs, waves, and don't be scared to put on a bit of weight. Don't be scared to try these things and do these things, and if it all depends on
unless you want to live in a bubble. Yeah, it does. Yeah, depends on your goals. But if you want to live in a bubble and stay 100% strict carnivore, don't travel, don't hang out with friends and family, fine, do that. But
do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
to me that's.
I mean, like, there are a couple of ways you can look at the holidays. Like, if you want to stick to your diet, it's much easier if you stick to your routine, even if you are traveling.
Yes.
So. Because you are more motivated to stick to your diet if you stick to your say, like, exercise routine. Okay, so that makes it much easier. But even if you go off your diet, there are things that you can do, such as cold therapy, to help you manage it. But don't also just don't be so hard on yourself. Just you can, get back on the wagon afterwards. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, that's it.
So what meats are
I've,
popular in Japan? Fish and beef, I'm assuming, but lamb or pork. Pork's very popular in Japan. Lamb, not as
yeah.
much. Lamb is probably the least.
Mm,
I think lamb is probably the least popular.
yeah.
Obviously, it's not seafood. They eat anything that's ever moved. Um,
Yeah.
actually, this was funny. Actually, another popular carnivore influencer came up with this great and just ridiculous analogy that was so funny. Um, he said that there's a crab in Japan that um, developed its shell to look like a samurai face, like a face mask, samurai face mask, so that it wouldn't be eaten because, and quoting, because Japanese have such a high respect for samurai, they didn't eat anything that resembled a samurai. I mean, seriously, do you know how long it takes, like, for evolutionary processes that even like to change color or change shape of the cell? And how smart do you think a crab is? I mean, seriously, utter nonsense, absolute garbage. And I guarantee you, like, if it ever had a parent ever moved on its own or whatever, Japanese eat it from nose to tail. And if it didn't move,
Yeah.
they'd push it just to make sure. All right. So don't listen to these ridiculous, nonsensical influences, whether they're carnivore or not. If they come up with stupid information like that, tell them they're full of it, because they are full of crap. But anyway, yeah, getting back to the issue, yeah, seafood is very, very popular, of course, and yeah, beef, they love beef, and pork is very, very popular. They love bacon and all sorts of pork dishes. But yeah, lamb is probably the least favorite, but they do eat it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think fish is on top. I think seafood is something obviously that they really highly consume in Japan, being most of the cities and coastal areas. But yeah, I think did you ever try? Well, I never tried it, but the pufferfish sashimi. What is it called? I can't remember. Fugu fish. That's it.
Yeah.
Did you ever try that? Yeah.
No, I'm not big on. Well, I have tried it actually, but no, I'm not big on it.
Um,
What I do like though is they call, what is it? I mean, there's tuna and salmon are probably two of my favorites, but then you have katsuo. Katsuo is really nice. And yellowfin, sort of yellowtail, what they call yellowtail.
Yellowtail, yeah.
Yeah, yellowtail is
Yeah.
absolutely delicious. But the fattier the better. Like, it's really good, really, really good.
Yeah.
But they eat absolutely anything and everything, like including
That was
like,
the point.
actually, my wife really quite likes the like actually beef bow, actually.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. But I mean, like, they'd go to the point of eating, of, like, to my point, the the pufferfish, which is highly poisonous if not prepared correctly.
Yeah.
And then go to the extent of eating
the wrong way. You got it the wrong way, and you're definitely like you're dead in seconds.
You're dead in seconds.
So,
yeah.
So it's pretty impressive. Like, they'll eat anything that moves, like, to the point of absolute deadly fish. Like, they'll still eat it. So it really.
But I love the
it.
seafood.
Really is. It's just hilarious when you see these idiots say, "Oh, Japan's vegetarian." I'm like, bullshit. You got to be kidding.
No.
But then you have the other extreme where even these so-called carnivore influences, they come up with stupid rhetorics like it's illegal to be obese. Are you kidding me?
You know what, like, yeah, you do see a lot of, I mean, I'm just comparing the last time I went to Japan, 2020, I think, I can't remember, but, I mean, 6 years, 5 years later, I noticed that the obesity, just visual, I could just see that the Japanese people that I came in contact with, a lot of them were getting larger. So, I mean, yeah, I think
Yeah, you can tell
nowhere
by the fashion as
in,
well. Like when
yeah,
I lived there, I've spent like 10 years I spent living there, and every year after that I get back to Japan as much as I can. But
hmm,
the fashion has gone from very like skinny to very baggy, and I used to I could never find sizes in Japan when I was like I literally even like an XL size shirt, I've literally torn the
hmm,
back, like the middle of the back of them out, right? Um,
yeah,
but now, I used to have to get like 4 times XL sometimes, and it depending on where I
hmm,
was. But now I can get like an L size,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it fits quite well. So like you can see, like the sizes in clothes have actually gone up a lot too.
yeah, the catering
I
now
mean, not
for the
everywhere,
larger,
but
hmm,
they're starting to cater
hmm,
for larger sizes.
yeah,
Um,
hmm,
but you can see like this, they are actually catching up in the obesity. I mean, it's going to take a long time for Japan to do it because again, I think that the biggest part is that they are honest about it. You know,
yes,
um,
yeah.
yeah, you do see. I mean, I've seen bakeries, even bakeries have a tabi holiday now in Sendai. Like
Oh
tabi,
wow,
sorry,
oh okay,
yeah, a tabi holiday means that all you can eat for a certain period of time. Like that, this bakery had a tabi holiday for I think it was like 3 hours. And it only
yeah,
cost $10. Like $10, all you
yeah,
can eat bread, like pastries and breads for $10. You know.
hmm,
Um,
crazy, crazy,
So yeah, obesity will catch up, but it's just taking time
yeah,
because they're just a little bit behind us in that respect. But that doesn't mean
hmm,
that they're
hmm,
behind us in their health issues. They still have all the same health issues. Like even though that you can be slim and skinny and still have diabetes, you can be slim and
yeah,
skinny and fit and still have cancer. You can still have
hmm,
heart disease and liver disease and kidney disease and all those other things that come with even though not obese, you can still have
yeah,
all those diseases, and you do. Okay, and I was one of them.
yeah. Mm. And you notice too, they have a lot of these, going into lifestyle as well. They have other, I guess, modalities that they look at. For example, the cold therapy, obviously you get from the weather itself in the wintertime. Like you are exposed to cold air and whatnot. But
Yeah,
also, you've got the onsens, the saunas, the
yeah,
I didn't realize
yeah.
how
See,
popular it
they
was.
love that stuff.
Really
Oh yeah,
popular.
it's incredibly popular, especially in winter, but
Mm.
even in
Yeah.
summer. Onsen hot springs are very very popular. See, traditionally they've always looked at onsens and onsen areas as healing waters, and you can
Yes.
even
Yeah.
get um, so like they used to use it for like for wound healing, even for like
Mm.
cleaning out a wound or and like a
Mm-hmm.
knife after a battle or any kind of injury really. But they've used
Mm.
onsens traditionally for healing places, and now they use them. I mean, most people they try. I mean, Japanese they love it. They go to onsens all the time.
Mm.
And you can even buy, to get bottles of water. You can even buy bottled onsen water to drink because they quite
Yeah.
often drink the water as well because it's full of nutrients. It's full of
Yeah. Yeah.
electrolytes and all
Minerals.
sorts of
Yeah.
other things. Minerals, yeah, sorry, that's the word I was looking for. They're
Mm.
full of minerals and so on.
Mm.
Um,
Mm. Mm.
and again, yes, these are other modalities they have. Plus it gets very cold, and I mean, when I was staying there for 3 weeks, I was staying with a Japanese family, my in-laws, and literally
Mm.
like their house is actually colder inside than it is outside. So the whole
I
time I was
noticed that.
there, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the whole time I was there, I pretty much I was doing cold therapy, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, literally,
Crazy.
it was colder inside than outside, and like outside was
Yeah.
snowing some days.
Oh,
So,
really?
you
You
know,
got the snow?
yeah, yeah, just a little bit.
Oh,
But
awesome.
so they had that, and they have the cold therapy, they have the onsens, they have the walking. So this is part of their lifestyle, and I think, and
Yeah.
older generation, and even the younger generation are joining them. It's traditional, like it's part of their culture. Also, is to go to the park and do exercise. And you might have
Yes.
noticed that, like on weekends especially, the parks are full of families,
Yes.
like family
Yes.
unit. They
Yep.
always go to the park, they play games, and the parks are full of people. It's fantastic to see.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
They're very active. They're very, very active. And even people into their 90s, I've seen people, like when I was going to the gym in Japan, I've seen people in their
Mm.
80s and 90s at the gym. Okay. They're just incredibly active people that have always been active, discipline,
Mm.
self-control, other modalities like walking, and they've always been very active, and they stay active throughout their whole life in general.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying all of them are like that, because they're
No. No.
not.
No.
Not all of them are,
No.
and especially the younger generation, it's getting less and less. But
Yeah.
like for an example, my father-in-law, doesn't matter what the weather's like, unless it's like really heavy rain. But no matter what the season, no matter what the weather, every morning he gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning. He does a 2 hour walk around the city, very full, very fast pace, at a pace that is difficult for me to keep up. Okay, he's 73, and then and
Yeah.
then he meets a group at the local park. They do an exercise class together for the morning wake up, and then he walks home
Yeah.
again. He's incredible.
Yeah.
He does that every
Yeah.
single day, right?
Yeah.
So these are
Yeah.
it's the lifestyle as well,
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty much.
You
Anyway,
can
let's get
clearly
to
see
this
that.
question.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's get to this
Sorry,
question.
you can say.
Off topic, but what would you say is the number one upper back exercise? I'm really concentrating on strengthening that area. Upper back exercises, brother. What's
Okay, well, there's a number of that. Now, there's a lot of muscles up in the upper back. Okay, so the trapezius muscle, okay, is a very large muscle. It goes like from the upper trapezius up here. Most people when they do a shoulder workout. So from it inserts up the back of the skull, goes down across to the shoulders. But that trapezius muscle goes all the way back down your spine, right? Then you've got, of course, your lats, your outer lats, and so on. Then you've got your rhomboid muscles that actually keep your scapula together. Okay, so like the scapula, like the big blades, bones in behind your shoulders there. But the muscles that actually keep them back, give you a good posture, like your rhomboid muscles. But then on either side of your spine, you've got the erector spinae group. Okay, so in particular, like upper back, if say things like reverse flies, okay, for example. So like if there are machines where you can do with that, your arms are pretty straight where you do it, and that sort of targets the rear deltoid, but it also incorporates the rhomboids that help you keep that scapula together. And if the bigger those muscles are too, then obviously the further away your scapula is going to be, it's going to give you that more of a V shape as well. It's going to contribute anyway, and it's going to give you better posture. But if you're going to do it on cables, for example, I think that if you have straight arm, for example, that's going to be more of a tricep workout as well as the rear deltoid, because you're using your triceps to keep your arms straight. So bend your arms a little bit and do it that way. Okay, you get more stretch on your chest. Okay, but you get more contraction and range of motion on your rhomboid area and upper back. All right, so go that way. But upper lats, okay, like pull-ups. If you're up to doing pull-ups are fantastic because they incorporate a large number of muscles. Okay, especially in your upper back, your biceps, your shoulders, your forearms. Okay, for grip strength. If you can't do pull-ups, lat pull down. I think that the best way to do this is if you're going to do lat pull down, for example, or pull-ups, keep your hands about shoulder, just outside shoulder width. Okay, so just on the other side of your shoulders, and pull straight down. Keep your elbows into your pull your elbows in. Okay, so you're pulling the bar down to your chest. Okay, and that's a full pull-up. If you're going to do it in a pull-up, you tuck your elbows in, and that'll give you a higher pull-ups. Okay, it's where the bar is across your chest. Okay, that's a full pull-up. But that's a calisthenic sort of gymnastic sort of movement. Sort of you don't. I mean, if you want to just grow your lats, for example, you can change the angle and only do, say, what we call like a half pull-up sort of thing. And that's going to really target the lats, as long as if you're on a back angle sort of thing like that as well. And Big Jonathan, he'd have some great back exercises for you as well. I like seated rows as well. If seated rows are fantastic, and I think as long as you do a good full range of motion as well. So if you have a really good stretch where you stretch out your scapula, and then pull your shoulders back, and then with a straight back, sit back upright and pull the bar to your chest. Okay, again, tuck those elbows in and pull it straight to your chest. So there's a number of great back exercises. Even push-ups are a good back exercise. Even though you're predominantly using chest and shoulders and triceps, you still get a good activation in your back from push-ups. And again, you can change the angle to increase that load as well. So, or if you can't do a pull-up, for example, you can do what they call Aussie pull-ups, like Australian pull-ups, where your feet are on the ground and you're on an angle. So if you've got like rings or bar, and you can on a straight plane, you got to keep your back straight. So from a straight line from your ankles to your shoulders, and just pull up to the bar like that, and that's what they call Aussie pull-ups. They're a bit lazy. Yeah. Okay. So there's a number of things you can do there. Chest supported rows, chest supported rows are great. Like a seated row pin weight, you have a chest support where, they do have it on the bar as well. Rows are fantastic. You can do these bent over with a bar, with dumbbells, or chest supported, like Jonathan is saying there. Where some of them are bent over, you're sort of leaning over like that, and you got the chest support against you here, so you can't then sort of lift off and pull back. You have to just do a straight sort of row, and that they're a great machine actually for the back. Again, try and tuck those elbows in and bring the bar up to you as far as you can. It will help. It's helped me do this in 9 weeks. There you go. Good on you, mate. Good to see you, Jonathan.
There. There was another question.
There's a number of things that you can do, from even from beginner to very advanced movements. So.
Another question: did the Japanese eat
turkey? Yeah, I mean, you can actually. I haven't seen a lot of duck or turkey, but
I saw a lot of duck.
Yeah, you can get.
I do. I had a lot, but I think it was more Chinese style restaurants. They had a lot of duck. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Chinese style, of course, but they do have duck in supermarkets, and turkey as well. Not as much as chicken, obviously. They do eat other kinds of poultry as well, but not as much as, I think, predominantly chicken.
Yeah, it's mostly chicken. Turkey. I didn't see any turkey there. There was no. It wasn't the popular.
It's not so common. Yeah. Any other questions?
Awesome. I don't think so. I'm just trying to. Oh yeah, that one we've done.
I think some women especially, sometimes will have trouble with the chest supported rows for obvious reasons. But generally speaking, they're very good, and you can do even a bent over row with dumbbells, for example, or seated row, and so on. Quite good.
I'm glad you didn't mention deadlift, because every time I hear, "Oh, it's a great back exercise," it's deadlifts. I'm like, no, it's not.
No.
I mean, it's a great exercise. Don't get me wrong, but
it's a great exercise. But,
you're working a whole bunch of other muscles as well when you're deadlifting.
Yeah.
The one of the. I mean, it's not really working the upper back, but one exercise that I can't do personally, and I don't know, maybe you can sort of, you and Jonathan can answer this, but I have trouble with any press movements upwards, so any shoulder presses, especially if I'm standing. I get a lot of like dizziness and what's the word I'm looking for? Like almost like when you stand up too fast. And you black out. Yeah, I have trouble whenever I do any press movements overhead. Sorry, that's the word I'm looking for. Overhead. Yeah.
Overhead press. Well, I'd say that's because you're not breathing properly.
I just not. I don't. And again, I don't. There's no reason for me to do it anyway. I don't find that I need to to do it.
Yeah. Well, I find overhead presses are very good. Deadlift is efficient, but at a great cost. Yeah, I don't do it.
Which is funny. With I say I struggle with overhead presses, but I did Olympic weightlifting for a year and I had no problem. It's the static, press movement, but clean and jerk. Yeah. I'm fine with that. Snatch, I'm fine with that. So it's that static movement.
Yeah. I mean, like the clean and press and deadlifts and stuff like that. They're usually a pretty fast movement. So you slow things down. I think you're having trouble breathing is the problem. That's why you're getting dizzy. Okay.
Don't stand. Always have a solid point of bracing to reduce. Yeah. I think too. I mean, the last time I was doing the overhead press movements was when I was training for a strongman, training program, and I was wearing the belt, weightlifting belt, so that could have been a contributor as well. But I don't know. Again, I don't really. Yeah. It's nothing I do anymore, but.
Well, I think these are great exercises. Overhead, presses are good exercises. So, if there's something you want to work on, just go to a lighter weight and concentrate. Yeah. Don't just concentrate on the movement. Concentrate on the breathing while you are doing the movement. All right, and this is going to train your autonomic nervous system to regulate your breath while you are doing this movement. Okay, because over the years, obviously, while you're doing this, you're not breathing properly, and you've trained your autonomic nervous system to breathe that way while you do these overhead presses. So it's not something that you can. It's something you can work on. It's something you can correct.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I think so too. Yeah. I just finished up a session of Hindu push-ups off a low chair. Do them slowly. I love the stretch at the end. Yeah, nice.
Excellent.
I have to look it up. Hindu push-ups. People forget to breathe as bracing is more complex. And definitely.
Very
All right,
much
man.
so.
Well, I've got another appointment coming up in 15 minutes, and I
Yep.
don't think we've got any. I've just scrolled, and I don't think we've got any more questions. Um, so to wrap up, for those who've just tuned in, we've had a good chat about Japan, most of it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it was about Japan. You know how both our travels went, and sort of talked a lot about the lifestyle of the Japanese and why they weren't. So why a lot of them aren't fat or obese. Why don't they struggle with the same issues that we have in the Western world? But that's also not to say that they are, free from or immune to a lot of the health issues that we have in other societies. They absolutely do have health issues, and it is again, unfortunately, getting worse even in
Yeah.
Japan. But otherwise, man, let's cap it off. Is there anything else that you wanna, or any other last comments on what we've talked about?
No, I'm pretty good. I think it's a good, like I said before. I think it's a good example of like traveling is a good example of how to get through the holidays as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I said, I mean, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can, I mean, but I think that if you want to stick to your diet, you have to stick to your routines because that will make it easier to stick to your diet. But having said that, you really don't have to. Don't be so hard on yourself either. And consistency is about up and down. It's not about one doing the same thing 100%, 100% of the time. It doesn't work like that. So don't be don't be afraid to put on a bit of weight, and you can knock it off in the new year as well. So
Absolutely.
it doesn't have to be such a struggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're here to live too. You gotta have some. You gotta have some fun.
Well, that's it, and
And
that's
stop listening to BS influencers as well.
it's illegal to be fat, guys. That's what that's the key
Yeah.
message here.
I mean, seriously, what kind of country would make it illegal to be obese? Seriously.
Yeah. Oh, and I wonder how many citizens would be in that sort of space. But oh god, yeah. To add on to that, DC, I think just also remember that health isn't just a tunnel-minded view of just diet. Like you've got to think about other aspects of your health, like your emotional, your psychological. It's not just diet, and I think sometimes we can get caught up in our echo chambers of
Yes,
I've got to be
very
perfect
much.
in this. There are other things in life that you need to live your life. I'm gonna be completely honest. I did not stick to my diet while I was in Japan, and I'm okay with it. I'm cool
That's very
because you
good.
know what? I got back here, and I'm strict kind of. I'm back to it. So
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So I mean, it's very difficult, especially when you're going to a different country. Like I said, you're very excited. You want to try all these different things. So it's don't be too hard on yourself. It's all good. You know. And yeah, you're right. It is about more than just diet as well. There are lifestyle factors and so on. And that's something
Yes.
I like to emphasize a lot. Okay, cold therapy and breath work and walking even. I mean, sunlight and grounding. Just there's so much more that you need to think about as well. Anyway. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you all joining us. Thank you all very much, and we'll talk to you very soon. I hope everyone has a great holiday season. Merry Christmas to all.
Yes. Merry
And
Christmas.
I look forward to, very much look forward to the new year, and wish you all the very best of luck for the new year. Okay, so stay strong.
Happy holidays, everyone. All right. See ya. Oh. End stream.